Global markets are riding a wave of cautious optimism with earnings season bolstering investor confidence while global growth forecasts remain uneven. From new listings lighting up the Nasdaq to Africa's long-term economic plays, today's market mood is a blend of bold bets and quiet recalibrations. My name is Eniola Lunge, and here's today's Zoom Out for August 7, where I help you see the bigger picture. Shares of Firefly Aerospace surged on their first day of trading, given the private space company a $9.8 billion market valuation. The company, which builds small to medium lift launch vehicles, is now one of the most valuable space startups to go public, riding a broader surge in investor interest in space tech. The IPO success is a clear signal that appetite for future-oriented, capital-intensive sectors like space remains strong, especially in a market hungry for growth stories. It also raises the bar for other space players looking to go public in 2025. So what's your Zoom Out takeaway? From AI to aerospace, investors are once again betting big on moonshot ideas, a reminder that innovation narratives still carry weight in shaping market sentiment, especially when paired with solid business models. Despite global instability, the African Development Bank projects the continent's economy will grow by 3.9% in 2025 and 4% in 2026. East Africa is set to lead regional growth at nearly 6%, driven by resilient economies in Ethiopia, Rwanda, and Tanzania. The report notes improving macroeconomic fundamentals, declining inflation, and a growing service sector. These projections bolster confidence in Africa as a long-term growth frontier, and they may influence capital flows, especially for funds focused on frontier and emerging markets. So what's your Zoom Out takeaway? Africa's growth story is increasingly differentiated by region and sector. While global capital often gets distracted by headlines, this outlook reminds investors to look beyond volatility and see Africa's structural potential. South Africa is preparing to become a member of the African Export-Import Bank, a move that could unlock new trade finance tools and offer a buffer against rising U.S. tariffs targeting the country. With full membership, South Africa would gain greater access to credit lines and trade facilitation products. This could strengthen intra-African trade flows and reduce South Africa's exposure to external shocks, a significant step for regional economic resilience. So what's your Zoom Out takeaway? As trade tensions with the U.S. mount, South Africa is repositioning itself with Pan-African institutions to protect its economic future. The more integrated Africa becomes financially, the more leverage it gains in global trade dynamics. Several African nations are warming up to nuclear energy, with Ghana and Rwanda leading the way. Both countries are exploring partnerships to deploy small modular reactors, which offer scalable and relatively low-carbon energy alternatives for growing economies. If successful, these moves could help meet industrial energy needs and attract manufacturing foreign direct investments, especially from countries seeking stable clean energy sources. So what's your Zoom Out takeaway? Africa's clean energy path might look different from the West's, and nuclear's comeback on the continent signals a more pragmatic, long-term energy strategy rooted in industrial ambition. Digital bank Chime reported better than expected revenues in its first earnings release since its blockbuster US IPO earlier this year. The company attributed growth to rising customer deposits and increased transaction volumes. Chime's strong performance adds to the fintech rebound narrative, suggesting that consumer-facing financial startups may be entering a more sustainable, profitable phase. So what's your Zoom Out takeaway? Fintech isn't dead, it's maturing. Investors should watch which digital banks are building real ecosystems and which are still chasing hype. So the bottom line is this. From aerospace IPOs and African nuclear ambitions to South Africa's financial maneuvering, today's stories are tied to one theme: bold economic repositioning. Whether it's companies redefining sectors or countries reconfiguring their growth paths, the bigger picture is clear. We're in a global phase of reinvention. What story stood out to you today? Drop a comment, share your thoughts, and subscribe for more context with me. When the world zooms in on the noise, I zoom out so you can see the bigger picture.